Kenmore City Council is now in session. Would the clerk please take the roll?
Councilmember Culver,
Present.
Councilmember Marshall,
Present.
Councilmember Sassen,
I am here.
Councilmember Shrubnik,
She is excused.
Councilmember Lutzes,
Here.
Deputy Mayor Kane,
Here.
Mayor Herbig.
Here. That brings us to the land acknowledgement. We acknowledge that the city of Kenmore is situated upon the ancestral lands of the Snohomish, Snoqualmie, Soxhawtl, Duwamish, Stillaguamish, Tulalip, Suquamish, Muckleshoot, and other tribes who are part of the Coast Salish peoples. We recognize and express our deepest respect for their enduring stewardship and profound relationship with this land, which they have cherished and protected since time immemorial. We honor the First Peoples, acknowledge their vibrant cultures, and commit ourselves to learning from their wisdom in our journey to promote justice, equity, and mutual understanding. We pledge to stand alongside these communities in acknowledging past injustices and working towards a future that respects and celebrates the diverse heritage of this land. Now, if you'd all please stand and join me in the flag salute. Next on the agenda is agenda approval. Unless there are any objections, the agenda will stand approved as published. Hearing no objections, the agenda is approved. Brings us to the first of two proclamations we have. The first one is for Hispanic and Latino Heritage Month. Whereas Hispanic and Latino Heritage Month is observed each year from September 15th to October 15th, honoring the rich histories, deep cultures, and enduring contributions of Hispanic and Latino Americans. And whereas the term Hispanic or Latino refers to a person's culture of origin, those who identify having Mexican, Mexican American, Chicano, Puerto Rican, Cuban, or other Hispanic, Latino, or Spanish origin. And whereas Hispanic and Latino Americans make our nation richer and more dynamic through their diversity of cultures, languages, and religions. And there's no single story of the Latin or Hispanic experience, but rather a tapestry of contributions that enhance and shape America's culture and society. And whereas Hispanic and Latino Americans continue to enhance our region's economy, culture, education, politics, arts, history, literature, science, and technological developments, despite institutional and systemic injustices that prevent and limit these achievements and contributions. And whereas the Kenmore City Council reaffirms its commitment to fostering a community built on diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility, recognizing that celebrating Hispanic and Latino heritage strengthens our collective future. And whereas the city recognizes and celebrates the invaluable contributions, resilience, and cultural richness of Hispanic and Latino Americans, whose history, heritage, and enduring spirit have profoundly shaped the character of our community through generations of leadership, creativity, and perseverance. They've strengthened our city, enriched our neighborhoods, and added depth and vibrancy to the cultural, social, and economic fabric of our city, state, and nation. Now, therefore, I, Nigel Herbig, Mayor of the City of Kenmore, on behalf of the City Council, do hereby proclaim September 15th, 2025 to October 15th, 2025 to be Hispanic and Latino Heritage Month throughout the City of Kenmore. And we have a second proclamation today for National Diaper Need Awareness Week. Excuse me. Whereas diaper need, the condition of not being able to afford a sufficient supply of clean diapers to keep babies and toddlers clean, dry, and healthy, can adversely affect the health and well-being of children and their families. And whereas national surveys and research studies report that neither 1 in 2 families struggles with diaper need, and 48% of families delay changing a diaper to extend the available supply. And whereas a daily or weekly supply of diapers is generally an eligibility requirement for babies and toddlers to participate in childcare programs and quality early education programs that enable children to thrive and parents to work. And whereas many parents struggling with diaper need report missing an average of 5 days of work each month due to an insufficient supply of diapers. And whereas without enough diapers, babies and toddlers risk infections and health problems that may require medical attention, resulting in medical costs, and parents may be prevented from accessing childcare needed to go to work or school, thereby destabilizing the family's economic prospects and well-being. And whereas the people of Kenmore recognize that diaper need is a public health issue, and addressing diaper need can lead to economic opportunity for the state's families and communities and improved health for children, thus ensuring that all children and families have access to the basic necessities required to thrive and reach their full potential. And whereas Kenmore is proud to be home to trusted community-based organizations, including KidVantage, that recognize the importance of diapers and ensuring health and providing economic stability for families, and thus distribute diapers to families through various channels. And whereas through their important work of addressing diaper need, diaper banks play a critical role in supporting families, improving infant health and well-being, and advancing our local and state economic growth. Now, therefore, I, Nigel Herbig, Mayor of the City of Kenmore, on behalf of the City Council, do hereby proclaim September 15th through 21st, 2025 to be National Diaper Need Awareness Week throughout the City of Kenmore. And here to accept the that proclamation is KidVantage Senior Manager of Programs, Carolina Lando. I apologize if I, would you like to say a few words? Thank you.
Thank you for this opportunity. My name is Carolina Liendo. I'm with one of the board members. Like mentioned, the Diaper Network did a study, and they say that 1 of 2 families have diaper needs. Among the low-income families, 60% of the low-income family cannot buy diapers. 1 of 4 families say they have to skip a meal in order to buy diapers. Also, they cannot go to work. They need to stay at home because they don't have diapers for the daycare. The same study say the gap, they say, is 4.8 billions of diapers in the United States. Washington State is almost 89 millions of diapers is the gap every year. King County is 18 millions of diapers, the gap that we have with the families. I will finish with a quote before giving the word to one of the board members from one partner. Everyone deserves to be seen and known. One way we can do that is through giving our families diapers. It shows them that we can see them and their need, and we care about them. Another quote from Salma Hayek was in a gala, From Baby to Baby, another diaper bank. She said, dignity is an essential. Diapers are dignity. When you give diapers to a baby, you are also giving dignity to a family.
And thank you, everyone. So I'm Jessica Nevers. I actually live here in the city of Kenmore. I am a proud mama of a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old, so I certainly have my hands full. And I can appreciate firsthand how important diapers are to the ability of a family, and how if you struggle with even providing basic needs like diapers, that it's really hard to do anything else in your life, especially when a family relies on you. So I just can't thank you enough for this recognition. Thank you to Carolina and the hardworking team at KidVantage. This is super, super important. It's prevalent with our community as well, and I just can't thank you enough, so.
Thank you. Would you like to join us for a photo, and I can give you the proclamation? All right. City Manager, where's the fun?
Well, we have some real fun for you this week. We are officially celebrating Oktoberfest in Kenmore. This past Saturday, the festivities kicked off with the Flyaway 5K and 10K event hosted by the Bothell Kenmore Chamber. Just under 300 participants overall, with 1/3 of them participating in the inaugural 10K edition. At least 6 of our city staff participated. The Oktoberfest festivities continued at Kenmore Air for a family fun day from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. The event included discounted seaplane scenic flights, balsa wood glider competition for kids 12 and under, family-friendly local food trucks, a relaxing non-alcoholic beer garden featuring Fremont Brewing, an outdoor family game area with cornhole, ladder ball, and more provided by Snapdoodle Toys, and an Inglemore High School band performance. They estimated between 300 to 500 people attended. This was a new addition to the Kenmore Oktoberfest, and Kenmore Air is looking forward to making this event an annual fixture of the Oktoberfest festivities. They were pleased with the turnout and activation on site on Saturday. And I know I personally got to witness several seaplanes go by, so it was fun to see them out in force. Kenmore Oktoberfest continues this week with a tapping of the Firkin, I think I said that right, by Mayor Herbig, and a wine, beer, spirits pairing dinner at the Lodge on Thursday. A beer garden and performances by the Bavarian Beer Garden Band on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And not to be missed, the beloved Wiener Dog races at the Lodge on Sunday. Also, don't miss the Potmore Kenmore Market at the Kenmore Community Club. So I'm personally looking forward very much to the Wiener Dog races and the market. Those are both family-friendly activities, so I hope the community will come out and join us. You can find all the details at findkenmore.org/Oktoberfest.
Fantastic. That brings us to public comment. We want to welcome everybody to the council's meeting. We ask you please address, your comments to the mayor and council. Folks are going to have 3 minutes to speak. Clerk will call your name when it's your turn. Please state your name and city of residence, and keep within the allotted time to make every person feel welcome and safe here. We ask that folks refrain from booing, clapping, heckling, yelling, or other interruptions. And also note that under Washington state law, public comments time may not be used to support or oppose candidates or ballot measures. Thank you for keeping your remarks focused on city business. The meeting is recorded for transparency. Again, thank you for being here and for sharing your input respectfully. Clerk.
Thank you, Mayor. We have 3 individuals signed up for on-site public comment and 0 virtually. We will take the 3 in this order. First, we have Steve Yoder, followed by Rich Osborne, and then Nick Medvedetskovsky. Sorry if I butchered that.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Steve Yoder from Kenmore, Washington. I'm speaking tonight on the impacts of noise pollution, and I'd like to share some additional information. The population of monarch butterflies is decreasing dramatically. There's been a 95% reduction in their populations just since 1980. The primary causes of this decline are loss of milkweed, the only host plant for monarch caterpillars, pesticide and herbicide use, climate change, and habitat destruction. University of Georgia researchers found that monarch caterpillars exposed to highway noise for even short periods had elevated heart rates and experienced stress. As herbicides and pesticide have increased, the milkweed plants available to them are primarily left to roadsides. Research on human-generated noise suggests that it induces stress reactions in people and many wildlife species. The research team placed monarch caterpillars in 2 rooms. One contained speakers playing highway noise, the other was kept quiet. They played the road noise recording for 2 hours and then measured the heart rates of all the caterpillars. The caterpillars exposed to the highway noise experienced a 16 to 17% increase in their heart rate. In the real world, caterpillars near roadsides experience highway noise for much longer than 2 hours. We know that an increase in heart rate is a universal stress response in the animal kingdom. The reason heart rates increase is so they can escape or defend themselves. Also, behavioral changes occurred in the group exposed to the noise. Those caterpillars were more aggressive, fighting with one another and even biting the researchers. That had not happened previously. Dr. Julie Shermer from the University of Western Ontario, Canada, in her study concluded the desire for a loud car with a modified muffler is predicted by being a man that demonstrates antisocial behavior and has higher scores of psychopathy and sadism. Think about that for a moment. I've seen the data regarding narcissistic tendencies and the look at me attitude. for those that choose to break this law, but Dr. Shermer's findings found that sadistic tendencies, inflicting this pain on others, was a key motivator. You all have an opportunity to do something about it. Expanding the CAPE program should include noise enforcement devices. Please help protect us from this illegal behavior. Let's all plant some milkweed and pollinator gardens for our monarchs. Thank you very much.
Rich Osborne.
Hi, my name is Rich Osborne. I've been a resident of Kenmore since before it was a city. I'd like to address the decision that was made to include more mobile cameras and how they'll be implemented. As much as I dislike the mobile cameras, it's clear the council is going to implement them. That being the case, I'd like to see them implemented in as fair a way as possible. The only place I've seen mobile cameras used, in this area anyway, is on the 522 construction project. An implementation I support, by the way, because safety is truly a concern there. In the 522 implementation, there is clear signage significantly before the cameras identifying the use of cameras for speed enforcement. This should be the norm, especially for mobile cameras, which may pop up on any street in the city. I think it's in the public interest that there always be signage far enough away so that we can check our speed and slow down if necessary. Preferably a flashing lit sign. The signs should move with the cameras, always, each and every time. Do not leave the warning sign if there is no camera. Do not put the cameras in place if there is no warning sign there. Secondly, please do not reduce the speed limit and then add the camera. Both the Arrowhead and Inglemoor roads were 35 miles per hour. The speed limits were reduced to 30 ostensibly so people would naturally slow down. Then afterwards, the cameras were put in place to the new 30 mile per hour limit. I have a neighbor who got a ticket for doing 36. A year ago, that would have been 1 mile per hour over the speed limit. This year, it was a $100 fine for him. I can understand why he's so upset that about these cameras and how they are implemented. The only verbiage I've seen come out of the city is that there will be a grace period before tickets are sent out, and only for the first time the cameras are put into a particular area. Unless you want the people to think that the cameras are gotchas when you move them around, always implement clear and obvious warning signage to move with the cameras, giving people a chance to check their speed, and please don't change the limit and then add the cameras. Whatever your position on the camera's necessity, it feels very much like it was only done to make money. Thank you. I am going to send a copy of this to the clerk to forward to the board. I would appreciate if either the board or somebody from the transportation can respond back to me on how or whether they're going to address these concerns. Thank you.
Nick, go ahead.
Hello, my name is Nick Medvedeskov. I'm from Kenmore. Mayor and council members, I'm here tonight because Kenmore has a sidewalk problem that threatens our community safety, our city's legal compliance, and our city financial stability. Let me start with what matters most. Kenmore is supposed to be a city for everyone. Our elderly neighbors who built this community, parents pushing their strollers, and people using wheelchairs. But when our sidewalk have vertical displacement measuring 3 times the federal ADA maximum, we are telling these residents they don't matter. This isn't just about being nice. This is about safety and federal law. ADA standards are crystal clear. Vertical change in the sidewalk cannot exceed 1/4 of an inch. When engineering director, Mr. Vicente, confirms that over 1,000 locations in Kenmore ADA transition plan violates the standards, he confirms that we have over 1,000 liability risks. Let me share what this means financially. In 2020, a 57-year-old lady in a Puget Sound tripped over an uneven sidewalk. The settlement, $260,000. Typical settlements range from $10,000 to $50,000. With over 1,000 documented hazards, we are talking about if someone will fail. We are talking about when and how much it will cost us. Here is the critical point. Once a hazard is documented, the city can no longer claim ignorance. I understand budget concerns, but I also see we have funds for tourism manager and climate action manager. These priorities, while important, should not supersede our fundamental obligation to maintain safe, ADA-compliant infrastructure. Consider this, just 5 settlements averaging $50,000 each would cost us $250,000. This is not including legal fees, staff time, and increased insurance premium. The council has a choice. Continue ignoring documented hazards, wait for accidents, face lawsuits, pay settlements, and watch our insurance premiums skyrocket. Or prioritize sidewalk repairs in the next budget cycle, comply with federal law, and protect our residents. My request is very simple. Direct staff to develop an emergency sidewalk repair program with adequate funding. Every day we delay, we are gambling with people's safety and our city's financial future. When someone's grandmother breaks their hip on the sidewalk the city knew was dangerous, or when we are writing settlement checks that could have paid for repairs, we'll have no one to blame but ourselves. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Mayor, that concludes public comment.
All right, I want to thank everybody for coming and participating in public comment. That brings us to our consent agenda. The chair will entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye. Any opposed? The consent agenda is approved unanimously. That brings us to staff reports. Do we have any staff reports today?
We do, Mayor. Thank you. First of all, I wanted to share that I'm excited that on Friday we had the groundbreaking ceremony for our Public Works Operations Center. So that project is now off and up and running. They actually are breaking ground, literal ground, this week. So we talked about Oktoberfest, but also this week we have a few activities. One to highlight is we have a STEP open house this Wednesday here at City Hall from 6 to 8 p.m. And so we encourage the public to come and join us in the conversation about housing issues in our community. And then, as you may have read in the press, we had an incident Friday night with a resident and some gunshots fired. I'm happy to report that no one was injured. And our police department did a phenomenal job at de-escalating the situation where it ended with the best possible outcome of the individual taken into custody with no injuries. So that's my report.
Thank you for that. Council member reports and comments. Councilmember Culver.
Happy Monday.
Councilmember Marshall.
My thanks also to our police force and King County Sheriff's Office. It could have obviously been much worse. This is an amazing situation where we had officers and everybody involved and negotiators negotiating successfully with whatever happened. So I'm very grateful that nothing worse occurred. I wanted to bring the council's attention a couple concerns of neighbors from 61st. Both issues seem to be arising on 61st on different sides of the lake. The one down 175th next to Burt Gilman Trail. In the future, we may want to look at more definitive signage, I think, for the trail and for the parking around some of the condominiums and the park and the trail and the 61st intersection. There seems to be a great deal of concern brought about with that, and I trust that the citizens are now going through the first step of the process by talking to staff and raising concerns, and I know our staff is going to address that appropriately. And then the second one was on 61st with a pavement issue involving Puget Sound Energy. I hope that the same thing can happen with that group. And then regarding STEP, and just in response to a very valid point that Councilmember Srebnick brought up next week, I just wanted to urge everyone, if you haven't read it, please read the United States Supreme Court case by Grants Pass, even though it's by a probably conservative court. They do cite a study that is done by the University of California system, probably if not apolitical, leaning the other way. And the University of California Systems study found with regard to our homeless neighbors around the country that at least in both categories, it was at least 70% of each have significant addiction or mental health issues when you're homeless. So that, I think, should be part of any discussion that the council is going to have later about step housing. And we'd all do well to remember that there's a lot of issues and a lot of complexity involved. So thanks.
Councilor Sassen?
Thank you both so much. Thank you, City Manager. I do want to thank our chief for managing the situation so smoothly this weekend and keeping everyone safe. It was exciting. The groundbreaking for the Public Works Operations Center was, I mean, I'm not really sure we broke much ground because that ground was hard, but but we had fun. It was good. And then I also really want to encourage people to participate in the STEP open house on Wednesday. The committee is working very hard and they have a lot of information to share. And in addition to the NUSA housing glossary that is available on our website and NUSA in terms of what terms mean what, I think that the effort to promote information and dispel disinformation is, this opportunity is open to us on Wednesdays, so please participate. Otherwise, stay safe and take care of each other. Thanks.
Councilmember Lutzis?
Yeah, thank you to our officers and to our local partners as well for responding. I know that there were some folks from the surrounding area who came to assist from our neighboring jurisdictions, and we had some assistance from deputies from other parts of the county. So just really grateful that it all worked out and for our officers for keeping our community safe. Thank you.
Deputy Mayor?
I just want to say I'm thankful to hear we have the STEP Housing Open House this Wednesday. It's a great step forward as a follow through to our commitment to the community to include them in this important work. I just want to say, for me personally, and I think many of our community, it's been a tough week with the murder of Charlie Kirk and violence in our nation. I just want to say, remember, we're all human, and let's try not to judge each other for, try and understand each other. There are sometimes things where people look like they're so on the opposite side, but they're working for the same things that we are. And that I don't have any solutions, but I just want to say it's really important for us to start looking for the good in each other and working together as a nation. We are far more independent and minded than ideologues. We are all unique individuals that have something important to bring to the world. And I pray that we start working more together. I wasn't sure if I was going to say anything, so it was pretty heartbreaking to see the reaction of people around our nation. And so I just wanted to call attention that I know that this is something that matters to everyone here, the safety of each other and the people of our country. So thank you.
And last week, I attended the SCA Public Issues Committee meeting. We had a great presentation from the King County Libraries. They are going to go to the ballot next year for a levy to hopefully expand some of their operating hours back to what they were pre-pandemic, or at least get them closer to where pre-pandemic. Their checkout numbers, their usage numbers are really astounding. Something like 48% of households in King County are active users of the library, which is, as the librarian said, for any private company, that would be astounding. So Anyway, there'll be more to come on that. They're still working through a lot of what the proposal is, and that was part of their meeting, was getting some feedback from cities on that. I also I think it was Thursday, might have been Friday, attended the Leadership Eastside. They have a annual mayor's luncheon where they, Leadership Eastside is kind of it's a leadership training organization. People do 1 or 2 year, cohorts, and work on collaborative leadership and things like that. And they have a mayor's luncheon every year where a group of us sit up on stage and answer questions and try to pass on some pearls of wisdom. Always fun. And then, yeah, the groundbreaking for the Public Works facility was a nice step. That has been a long time coming. So be happy when that project is finished and our folks are not working out of an undersized yard on 522. Anyway, with that, we are going to executive session pursuant to RCW 4231-10-1B and I. The city council will now enter into an executive session to consider the selection of a site or the acquisition of real estate and to discuss potential litigation. The executive session is slated to last approximately 45 minutes, but may be extended. An announcement will be made if a time extension is needed. No final action is expected. Council is going to extend its executive session additional 15 minutes until approximately 8:30. Kenmore City Council is now adjourned.